We're just a few weeks, maybe a month away from the start of the spring calving season. That's a good time for that reminder of the importance of passive immunity for those baby calves. And what I mean by that is a baby calf, when it's born, has no real immunity built up. And the first antibodies that it receives is from the first milk or colostrum that it gets when it first nurses its mother. It is so important that this occurs early in life so that that calf has the best chance of survival. Research done up at Clay Center, Nebraska about 20 years ago showed us that calves needed to get that passive immunity in order to have the best chance of survival. What they looked at were by taking blood samples of baby calves 24 hours after they were born, and they classified them as having adequate amounts of passive immunity or adequate amounts of antibodies in their bloodstream compared to those that they were called inadequate. Those that had an inadequate amount of passive immunity were 5 times more likely to have some kind of sickness in the first couple of weeks of life, and usually that's calf diarrhea. Those calves that were inadequate at 24 hours of age were 3 times more likely to get sick between that 2-week period and weaning time. And there was a relationship between the amount of passive immunity and weaning weight. Those that were inadequate, of course, had lighter weaning weights. As you can understand, those calves that had inadequate passive immunity and were more likely to get sick either early or throughout the pre-weaning phase, they were 6 times more likely to die before weaning took place. Now let's put that in perspective. That means that if in a typical situation where calves are getting adequate passive immunity, about 1% are dying, then those that are inadequate, something like 6% is what we could expect the death loss to be. As we followed those calves on through to the feedlot phase, what those researchers found were those calves that had inadequate passive immunity at 24 hours of age. When they followed them as yearlings into the feedlot, they were 3 times more likely to get bovine respiratory disease, and as you can expect then, they were going to have poor performance in the feedlot and certainly have a lower rate of gain and higher feed to gain ratios. So it is important that we make sure that as we go through this calving season, these calves get adequate passive immunity by making sure they nurse that mother within the first few hours of life, or that we supply colostrum that we've stored up and frozen and made that available to that calf, or perhaps purchased a colostrum replacer and provide that to those calves that we think don't get enough passive immunity early in life. That way we'll have healthier calves as we have them here on the ranch, and they'll be healthier calves as they go on to the next phases in the beef industry, and certainly be a better product for everybody that owns them. Hey, we look forward to visiting with you again next week on Sunup's Cow Calf Corner.